2 Samuel chapter 22. David spoke to Yahweh the words of this song in the day that Yahweh delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. He said, Yahweh is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, even mine. God is my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge. My Saviour, you save me from violence. I call on Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. For the waves of death surrounded me. The floods of ungodliness made me afraid. The cords of Sheol were around me. The snares of death caught me. In my distress I called on Yahweh. Yes, I called to my God. He heard my voice out of his temple. My cry came into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven quaked and were shaken because he was angry. Smoke went up out of his nostrils, consuming fire out of his mouth. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also. He came down, and the thick darkness was under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew. Yes, he was seen on the wings of the wind. He made darkness a shelter around himself, gathering of waters and the thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness before him, the coals of fire were kindled. Yahweh thundered from heaven. The Most High uttered his voice. He sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and confused them. And then the channels of the sea appeared. The foundations of the world were laid bare by Yahweh's rebuke, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. He sent from on high and took me. He drove me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. For they came on in me in the day of my calamity, but Yahweh was my support. He also brought me unto a large place, and he delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness. He rewarded me according to the cleanness of my hands. For I have kept Yahweh's ways, for I have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his ordinances were before me, as if for his statutes I did not depart from them. I was also perfect toward him. I kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore Yahweh has rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness in his eyesight. With the merciful you will show yourself merciful. With the perfect man you will show yourself perfect. With the pure you will show yourself pure. With the crooked you will show yourself shrewd. You will save the people, you will save the afflicted people, but your eyes are on the haughty, that you may bring them down. For you are my lamp, Yahweh. Yahweh will light up my darkness. For by you I run against a troop. By my God I leap over a wall. As for God in his way is perfect. Yahweh's word is tested. He is a shield to all those who take refuge in him. For who is God besides Yahweh? Who is a rock besides our God? God is my strong fortress. He makes my way perfect. He makes his feet like hinds' feet. He sets me on my high places. He teaches my hands to war, so that my arms bend a bow of brass. You have also given me the shield of your salvation. Your gentleness have made me great. You have enlarged my steps under me. My feet have not slipped. I have pursued mine enemies and destroyed them. I didn't turn again until they were consumed. I have consumed them and struck them through, so that they could arise. Yes, they have fallen under my feet. For you have armed me with the strength for the battle. For you have subdued under me who rose up against me. You have also made my enemies turn their backs to me, that I might cut off those who hate me. They looked, but there was no one to save, even to Yahweh, but he didn't answer them. Then I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I crushed them as the mire of the streets, and spread them abroad. Oh, you also have delivered me from the strivings of my people. You have kept me to be the head of the nations. As a people whom I have not known will serve me, the foreigners will submit themselves to me. As soon as they hear of me, they will obey me. The foreigners will fade away, and will come trembling out of their close places. Yahweh lives, blessed be my rock. Exalted be God, the rock of my salvation. Even the God who executes vengeance for me, who brings down peoples under me, who brings me away from my enemies. Yes, you lift me up again above who rise me up against me. You deliver me from the violent man. Therefore I will give thanks to you, Yahweh, among the nations, and I will sing praises to your name. He gives great deliverance to his king and shows loving kindness to his anointed, to David, to his offspring forevermore. 2 Samuel chapter 23. Now these are the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, says, the man who was raised on high, says, the anointed of the God of Jacob, the sweet psalmist of Israel. Yahweh's spirit broke by me. His word was on my tongue. The God of Israel said, the rock of Israel spoke to me. The one who rules over men righteously, who rules in the fear of God, shall be as the light of the morning when the sun rises, a morning without clouds, when the tender grass springs out of the earth, through the clear shining after rain. Most certainly my house is not so with God, yet he has made me with an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and sure. For it is all my salvation and all my desire, although he doesn't make it grow. But all the ungodly will be as thorns to be thrust away, because they can't be taken with the hand. But the men who touches them must be armed with iron and staff or a spear. They will be utterly burned with fire in their place. These are the names of the mighty men whom David had: Josheb, Basshebeth, Tachmonite, chief of the captains. The same was Adino Esnite, against 800 slain at one time. As after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodai, the son of an Ahohith, of one of the three mighty men of David, when they defied the Philistines who were there gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel had gone away. He arose and struck the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hands froze to the sword, and Yahweh worked a great victory that day. The people returned after him only to take plunder. After him was Shammah, the son of Agi, and Harite. The Philistines had gathered together into a troop, where there was a plot of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines. But he stood in the middle of the plot and defended it, and killed the Philistines, and Yahweh worked a great victory. 3 of the 30 chief men went down and came to David in the harvested time in the cave of the Abdullam. The troop of the Philistines were encamped in the valley of the Rephaim. David was then in the stronghold, and the garrison of the Philistines was then in the Bethlehem. David longed and said, Oh, that someone would give me water to drink from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. The 3 mighty men broke through the army of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem, that was the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But he would not drink it, but poured it out to Yahweh. He said, "Be it far from me, Yahweh, that I should do this. Isn't this the blood of the men who risked their lives to go?" Therefore he would not drink it. The three mighty men did these things. Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, the chief of the three, lifted up his spear against the 300 and killed them, and had a name among the three. Wasn't he most honorable of the three? Therefore he was made of their captain. However, he wasn't included as one of the three. Behaniah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of Valiant of Kabzeel, who had done mighty deeds, he killed the two sons of Ariel, of Moab. He also went down and killed a lion in the middle of the pit in the time of the snow. He killed a huge Egyptian, and the Egyptian had a spear in his hand. But he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. Benaiah, the sons of Jehoiada, did these things, and had a name among the three mighty men. He was more honorable than the 30, but he didn't attain to the three. David set him over his guard. Asahel, the brother of Joab, was one of the 30. Elihan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem. Shammah, the Horodite. Elika, the Herodite. Helis, the Paltite. Ira, the son of Achish, the Tekoite. Abizir, the Anothite. Mabunai, the Hasotite. Azalmon, the Ahotite. Malarai, the Netophite. Heleb, the son of Bana, the Netophite. Ittai, the son of Rebai, the Gibeah, the children of Benjamin. Beniah, the Pirothite. Hidai, the brooks of Gash. Abialabon, the Arabite. Asmaveth, the Barumathite. As Eliba, the sons of Shalibonite, the sons of Jeshin, Jonathan. Shammah, the Harite, Ahim, the son of the Shahar, the Arite. Elipit, the son of Ashbahai. Ahazbai, the son of Makathite. Eliam, the son of Ahithophel, Pel, the Gilonite. Hezro, the Carmelite. Parai, the Arbite. Igal, the son of Nathan of Zabah. Bani, the Gadite. Zelek, the Ammonite. The Naharite, Beerothite. Armor, the bearers to Joab, the son of Zeruiah. Ira, the Ithrite. Gareb, the Ithrite. And the Uriah, the Hittite, 37 in all. 2 Samuel 24. Chapter 24. Again, Yahweh's anger burned against Israel, and he moved against David against them, saying, "Go number Israel and Judah." The king said to Joab, the captain of the army, who was with him, "Now go back and forth through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan to even to Beersheba, and number the people, that may know the sum of the people." Joab said to the king, "Now may Yahweh your God add to the people, however many they may be, 100 times. May the eyes of my lord the king see it. But why does my lord the king delight in this thing?" Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the army of Joab. Joab and the captains of the army went out from the presence of the king to the number of the people of Israel. They passed over the Jordan and encamped in the Aroer, on the right side of the city, that is the middle of the valley of Gad, and to Jazer. And then they came to Gilead, and to the land of Tahithim, Hothshi, and they came to Dan, Jan, and around to Sidon. And came to stronghold of Tyre, and all the cities of Hivites, and of all the Canaanites. And they went out to the south of Judah and Beersheba. So when they had gone back and forth through all the land, they came to Jerusalem in the end of the 9 months and 20 days. Joab gave up the sum of numbering the king to the people of the king, and there were in Israel 800,000 valiant men who drew the sword, and men of Judah were 500,000 men. David's heart struck him after he had numbered the people. David said to Yahweh, I have sinned greatly, which I have done. But now Yahweh put away, I beg you, the iniquity of your servant, for I have done very foolishly. David rose up in the morning. Yahweh's word came to the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and speak to David. Yahweh says, I offer you 3 things. Choose one of them, that I may do it to you. So Gad came to David and told him, and said to him, Shall 7 years of famine come to you, or in your land? Or will you flee 3 months before your foes while they pursue you? Or shall there be 3 days Palestinians in your land? Now answer and consider what answer I shall return to him who sent me. David said to God, I am in distress. Let us fall now into Yahweh's hand, for his mercies are great. Let me not fall into man's hand. So Yahweh sent a pestilence on Israel in the morning, from the morning even to the appointed time, and the 70,000 men died of the people from Dan to even Beersheba. When the angel stretched out his hand toward Jerusalem and to destroy it, Yahweh relented of the disaster and said to the angel who destroyed the people, It is enough, now withdraw your hand. Yahweh's angel was by the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. David spoke to Yahweh when he saw the angel who struck the people, and said, Behold, I have sinned. I have done perversely, but I have done these sheep. What have I done? Please let your hand be against me and against my father's house. Gad came to that day to David and said to him, Go and up and build an altar to Yahweh on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. Yahweh went up according to the saying of God, as Yahweh commanded. Araunah looked out and saw the king and his servants coming on toward him. Then Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king and his face to the ground. Araunah said, Why has my lord the king come to his servant? David said, To buy your threshing floor, to build an altar to Yahweh, that the plague may be stopped, that the plague may be stopped from afflicting the people. Araunah said to David, Let my lord the king take and offer what seems good to him. Behold, the cattle for the burnt offering on the threshing, instruments and the yokes of oxen for the wood. All this, O king. O does Araunah give to the king? Araunah said to the king, May Yahweh your God accept you. The king said to Araunah, No, but I will most certainly buy it from you for a price. I will not offer burnt offerings to Yahweh my God, which cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. David built an altar to Yahweh and there and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So Yahweh was entreated for the land, and the plague was removed from Israel.